people, rock aficionados, rock gods, whatever you are in the rock world, welcome to our humble show, MPJ, New Rock Album Review Show. I'm Nigel, we have Andy, we have Trish, we have Chris, we have Paul. Welcome back, and we have the Mrs. Dom, who is also voted. We are reviewing the latest rock albums and rating them out of 5 for our listening pleasure. No other thing other than our listening pleasure. And see if they get into our Hall of Fame and maybe into our Hall of into our Album of the Year show. Today's offering is Biffy Clyro and Futique, but so it's Boutique, but just with an F. So Futique, whatever that means. Let's find out, shall we? Now, however, Biffy is a returning album. Now, the myth of Happily Ever Happen was not received well by our crew. I mean, it only got a 2.5. Let's see if this is going to be received any differently. Now, let's start with you, Paul.
I was just looking for the right thing. What can I say? It has been 4 years since Biffy's last album, The Myth of Happily Ever After. And fans have been waiting a while for Futique, an album described by the band as an exploration of ideas, objects, or relationships that exist across time. Unfortunately, they'll have to wait another 30 seconds before the album or the first song starts, as it repeats a single note over for that length of time, which for me is a big turn-off. The next 3 songs feature the different faces of Biffy, with Hunting Season, a punkier rock affair before One Shot and True Believer are more softer and indie affairs. The Goodbye is a drab affair, and although the rest of the album is solid, having 2 tracks that would forever and a day skip is not for me.
Oh. Well, looks like we might be heading back to the previous album. Who knows? However, there's hope. There's always hope when it comes to Andy. Surely, Andy, tell us, did you enjoy Biffy?
Yeah, I did. I did enjoy it. Obviously, Biffy Clyro are one of the biggest sort of UK rock acts which are out there through for it. And again, this is very much, it's great sounding, polished, big stadium rock. Yeah, it's designed there to like be sort of sung out at in sort of big festival crowds for it. I really liked it. A big fan. Great moments in it. It's got good emotional bits through for it as well. I guess this is maybe a little bit more introspective, maybe of an album than the other ones, but it's still got fantastic moments. I would love Goodbye. That was a great song, without a doubt, through for it. If I had to give it a criticism, maybe it is a little bit too on the pop side, a little bit too safe in a way, maybe a little bit, but no, I loved it, so great.
Now, somebody we also love very much, and that's Chris. So, Chris, what do you think?
I honestly thought I was going to be and that's Dom, but he's not around right now, so we'll go to Chris. This certainly, with the other albums that we listened to this month, this is on the lighter side, as I think it's been said. That there's very little metal, and certainly no metalcore, which is a plus. One of the things that I've obviously heard of Biffy Clyro, but they've not been on my radar really. There's not been something I've listened to. But one of the things that I did pick out quite a lot listening to the album, and is just that they're a Scottish band, and the way some of the way some of their lines tail off, the way they finish off certain words, certain phrases, just it's more unique than I've heard in other albums. Just sort of the way that their lyrics go, which sort of hooked me in and kept me interested and kept me listening for more of it. I think we've mentioned Hunting Season, that relatively early in the band, and Shot One, both a couple of cracking songs. It is a bit lighter, it's a bit more pop rock necessarily than the heavy metal that we've been listening to so far this month, but that really worked for me. Decent tempo through the album. There's a bit of a going back to something I said in one of the previous albums. There's some contrast between the songs here, but it felt more controlled, a bit more like they were taking you on a journey through it, rather than just we're doing this. Oh, we're going to throw this in as well. So yeah, I quite enjoyed listening to this one. It was a good album for me.
Well, a big Biffy fan. We'll leave to last. But Trish, what do you think of Biffy?
Yeah, I mean, I love Biffy Clyro. Seen them, well, I can't even remember how many times now. This album is 4 years in the making since their last release, and as a Biffy Clyro fan, eagerly anticipated for me. For sure, as soon as you hear the opening track, A Little Love, you know you're in for a treat, especially when Simon's distinct vocals hit your ears. This album, albeit only 44 minutes long, sees the band on a deep level digging into themselves and their experiences personally and as a band. Shot One, Goodbye, standout tracks for me on the album. All the tracks are true Biffy, packing a punch and touching you in a way only this band amongst few can do. Going from strength to strength 30 years on can only make you excited for what the next decade brings us from their music. An album easily to have on repeat.
So you're saying Biffy touches you in ways that can't be described then? With his handsome gold, with his handsome locks and open t-shirts. Yeah, okay.
Oh, normally a bare chest, the t-shirt comes off.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I agree with a lot of what Trish said, but I wouldn't agree that it was a deep album. This is not a deep album at all. And in fact, that's his strength. The problem I had with Biffy in the past is I think he goes too much on a prog rock. He goes too deep, and some of his tracks, particularly on the previous albums, have gone too long for me anyway, my personal taste. And I always said, and it was very interesting actually because I thoroughly enjoyed this album. It was very much more to my kind of rock, kind of pop taste. It was a lot lighter. It seemed a lot more fun, and it's a demonstration actually. I was so talking to myself after, and I was listening to the album. I think for the third time, I thinking, why haven't I enjoyed Biffy before? And then this track came on, and I'm going, I think it was the second time I heard the album actually, and there's that's why it's playing more like a prog rock kind of thing. It's just droning on. And actually, what had happened, the album had finished, and it went to the Biffy station and started playing some of his older tracks. And it was like, oh, thank God for that. This track is not actually on the album. So that actually really emphasised what I had felt previously about Biffy. But this was quality. This was absolutely, sometimes when you listen to an album, you listen because you tune in and the music speaks to you. And other times when you listen to an album, it's just about you enjoy it because it's actually entertaining, and it's fun and it's great. And this definitely hit all of those. Hunting Season and Shot One were my two favourite tracks. It wasn't perfect, but it was bloody close. I thoroughly enjoyed this album, really did, and I'm so pleased because you see him perform on stage and you go like, he's terrific live. It must be absolutely brilliant, and I only wish I enjoyed his music. Well, Biffy, I now do enjoy your music because I thoroughly enjoyed this album. It was absolutely brilliant. And do you know what I mean? When you listen to, like we reviewed 21 Pilots, and my expectation was low, and it was high, and it kind of reached that. And this one, my expectation was low, and it massively exceeded my expectations. So absolutely brilliant. Now, will it be enough to get into our Hall of Fame? Will it be enough maybe to get into our Album of the Year show? Who knows? Let's start the votes then, Paul, shall we?
I give it a 3.
Okay.
And the hope that my vote will be disallowed, and I have nothing to do with Biffy Clyro.
Well, who knows? Who knows? Trish. 5 from Trish. Chris.
I gave this a 4.
A 4. Wow. Okay. I give this a 4.5. Pretty cool. Dom also loved this album. He gave this a 4.5. Now, Andy, if Andy were to give this a 5, this album will get an automatic slot into our Album of the Year show. An automatic slot for a 5. If it gives it a 5,
Pressure's on.
It's gonna get a Hall of Fame. right? It's going to get Hall of Fame. It's in the Hall of Fame. Andy, will Biffy Clyro get an automatic slot into our Album of the Year show?
Paul's just preempted that because I gave it a 4.5.
Ah, still amazing.
Not quite enough, but
Still
good. Very
amazing.
good.
Now,
Thank you, Andy. I love you.
well, Paul, I mean, it's got 4.5. It's still up for the wild card, and I predict somebody might change their wild card option. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Looking at Trish.
I'd love to see what Simon will and make of this.
Well, if Trish changes her wildcard and she's put a wildcard option in, will Biffy, who she loves and has seen lots of times, what do you think, Trish? Trish, do you think you might change your wildcard pick? Oh, we'll have to wait and see. We'll keep Paul.
If she loves a match, she wouldn't.
Anyway, Biffy fans, well, first of all, congratulations. That's a terrific album. In terms of, it's actually, in terms of our ratings, it's our 11th favourite album of the year, which is terrific. Our 24th album, rated joint 24th album of all time. It was a terrific album. Absolutely brilliant. But ignore Paul. Ignore him. He has, just not the same taste. It unsettled him, Chris.
Well, that's not what he said. You can listen to him and understand what he didn't like about it.
I know, but
don't ignore it.
But he was obviously unsettled.
Accept, understand. Yeah.
Anyway, Biffy fans, do you agree with Paul? Do you disagree? Do you agree with the rest of us and our thoughts on it? Leave your comments below. Hit the like and subscribe button, and keep safe and keep rocking. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.